Hello, Z Crawl, welcome. Let's see if that works there. Hopefully that works. Maybe I need to get closer. All right. Okay, good enough. Is it kind of sideways? Hi, Xylo, welcome. I feel like the camera looks kind of sideways there. Hi, how are you? Long time, I know, right? Yeah, there's a lot of people that kind of come and go. I think Pierre, too, was in my broadcast yesterday. It had been a while since I had seen him. This camera is driving me nuts. It's like kind of sideways. Good enough, good enough. Okay. All right. I guess I'll wait and see if other people come in, but I guess I'll introduce myself while people come in. I never introduce myself, so I should start doing that. So, my name is Marisol, and I have late-stage Lyme disease, and I'm doing a scope a day for May. May is also Lyme Awareness Month. If you want more information about my own personal journey, I guess, with Lyme disease, you can visit www.ucaring.com/Marisol has Lyme. You can also follow me on Twitter, hotsun100384. And I also have a link to my YouTube channel and my blog here on my profile. My YouTube channel has all of my Periscope replays, and I also have some replays up here, but for the most part, I move them to my YouTube channel once I'm done with them here. So today I wanted to talk about chronic illness, self-image, and self-esteem. This is something that that kind of blindsided me when I got diagnosed with Lyme disease. I had no idea the impact it was going to have on my self-esteem, particularly my self-image, my physical, the way I felt about my physical self. I've been sick for about 11 years, about a decade or so, and I've been relatively thin the entire time. My weight has fluctuated, but for the most part, I've been skinny. But it wasn't until I got diagnosed about 4 years ago that it really started to sort of mentally mess with me. I had been skinny. Like I said, I'd been skinny the whole entire time, but I had not realized that I had not realized that I was skinny because of an illness. And sometimes I didn't realize that I had even lost weight. I just thought, my clothes is stretched out, it's gotten bigger. So I didn't really feel too bad about my body, even though I was really skinny and it was apparent. But I didn't associate it with anything. It wasn't concrete in my mind until I was diagnosed with Lyme disease. And I started realizing my weight, I am losing weight, and it's because of an illness. And of course, skin issues and things like that also happened, and that took a huge, huge toll on me. So I guess I'll just show you what I look like to start off with. So the biggest impact that this disease has had on my body is weight loss. So I'm going to move back here. You guys can see how skinny I am. Hi, Lou Rod, welcome. So you can see that I'm pretty thin. I'm about 5'5" tall, and I'm weighing in at about, I'm good, how are you? So I'm weighing in at about 90 pounds, I want to say. So, I mean, I guess I'll show you. You can see my ribs. You can see my hip bone. You can see everything. So that's the biggest impact that this disease has had on my body, is that I've lost a lot of weight. But also in the past, I've also developed skin issues, eczema, severe acne, which I don't have have it that bad anymore. Yes, and thank you for stopping by as well. Yeah, I try to watch some people's scopes, but because of the light sensitivity, I have difficulty actually staying in there sometimes. So, it depends. It depends on what kind of a day I'm having. I'll watch some people's scopes, or, some days I just don't watch anybody's, especially if I have a really long one that I do. The light from my phone really kind of bothers me. So I'll try to do more probably in June, because I've been scoping every day for May, and it's so stressful. So yes, I do remember you. I think you said you were from Texas. I'm not sure, but I do remember you. I think you were talking about that you went to school and you got a degree, something like that. Hi Pierre, welcome. Yes, you're from Houston. Yes. So today I'm just talking about self-image and how chronic illness impacts your self-image. And like I said, in my case, I lost a lot of weight, and that was hard for me. But also too, several years ago, probably like 8 years ago, I developed really severe acne, which I don't have severe acne anymore, but I do still have skin issues. And that was really, especially if you never had acne as a teenager, to have acne when you're in your, early 20s. I think I was like 22 or 23. Hi, Mr. Techroid, or Maria Sugar Daddy. Thank you so much for sharing, and thank you for the hearts. But I did develop really severe acne. I was like 23 or so, and that was a really, it was horrible. I was so self-conscious. I was so, I hated looking in the mirror. Yes, all of this was due to the Lyme disease. At the time, I was not diagnosed, but once I got diagnosed a few years ago, the doctor asked me for all of my health history. And, I took her back about 10 years when I started having problems, and all of this occurred during those 10 years. So, having that skin issue, and I'm not going to lie, I'm pretty vain. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you guys. I am a little vain, and having acne as an adult, when I never had acne as a teen or as a kid, it was just mortifying. I would go to work. It was horrible. I have pictures of it, but I don't, they're on my old iPod, which I can't use. But I was covered, my entire face was just covered. It was horrible acne, something that I had never experienced before. And, my self-esteem took a huge hit. I was just completely floored. I just couldn't stand to look in the mirror. I actually couldn't even wear makeup anymore. That's how bad the acne was. There was no amount of makeup that would cover it. It was horrifying. You look in the mirror and you think, oh my God, I look like a monster. Yeah, it was horrible. And coming from someone that had never had acne issues, and nobody in my family has acne issues like that. My sister doesn't have them. My brother never had it. Neither one of my parents had it to that severity. And it was so bad that I would go out in public and people would walk up to me and say, I can help you with that. You need to do this. You need to do that. It was that severe that people would come up to me on the street and tell me, I will fix your face. And, it was just horrific. The good thing was that I was in a relationship at that time, and for some reason, my boyfriend didn't really care. So, yes, exactly, Pierre. That's exactly my thought. I would think, my God, how bad does my face look that people are coming up to me on the street to give me whatever remedy that they think will help. But I was in a relationship at the time, and he didn't mind, so, that sort of helped. But that, if you've listened to my other scopes earlier this month, that totally went out the window after a while. And I'll probably get into that a little bit. So, I did a little bit of research about this. Actually, at that time, it was just on my face. Now, I have it on my chest and on my back, which, I guess I'll show you. I might as well. Since we're going to do this, right? I might as well do it right. So I don't know if you can see, I don't know if the camera picks up on it. I have marks on my back. It's worse up here than it is down here, but I have marks on my back. I have marks on my belly too, all around here. I don't know if the camera picks it up very well, but I do have, now I have back knee and front knee. And even though I can cover those parts up, I can still see it. You know, when I take a shower, you know, when I'm changing, I can still see that, and it does bother me a lot. So I actually picked this shirt today, this top, because it goes all the way up to here, and right now I have like some acne on my chest, and I was like, I can't do my scope, you know, showing that I have acne, you know, on my chest. I have acne here on my neck, and I cover it with makeup. I actually have been wearing makeup every single day this month, every time I do my scope, because I don't want to look, you know, unsightly when I do my periscopes. So that just goes to show you, right? I guess part of it is vanity. So hi Shadow Sleeper, welcome. In the color of your hearts, they're green. Oh yeah, yes, cool, green hearts. Thank you, and thank you guys for the hearts. My chest and back, but never thought about doing something. You know what? Sometimes it's hard to do something about it. I have not found a way. The only thing that helps is my diet. And that helps, but it doesn't completely fix the issue. So, like I said, people make suggestions. For the weight loss, people have told me, you know, drink protein shakes, eat higher fat foods. Yes, that's Pierre. He's from Sweden. So yes, I have a couple of shadows in here. For me, diet does affect acne. Yeah. Yeah, some people have acne when they're a teen. But see, the difference between having acne as a teenager is that other people have acne too. As an adult, I have acne, and it's like, why do I have acne now? You know, this sucks. You know, I never had it before. Why do I have it now? But I've had people, you know, especially from my family, most of the people in my family are overweight. So I have people telling me, oh, you just need to have a hamburger. Yes, it feels a lot worse as an adult. You just need to have a hamburger. Why don't you try protein shakes? You know, eat a lot of avocados, you know, just eat a lot of fatty stuff. And number one, it's a very unhealthy suggestion. Number two, it's not going to help me because my weight loss is related to an illness. It's not related to me just wanting to be thin. I've had doctors insinuate that I'm losing weight because I want to. I had a doctor recently tell me if the weight loss was by choice. And no, it's not by choice. It's because of my illness. Our Periscope picnic, you know, there's a few people that do want to get together from Periscope. So we'll talk about that maybe next month because I have like this whole scope a day thing. But I have like 2 or 3 people that really want to get together. So I'm going to try to set that up probably this coming month in June. Like I said, my family, they're mostly overweight. So being the skinny one has been just horrible. I mean, I had an uncle come up to me at a family party and look at me and say, I don't like that. I don't like the way you look. I really don't like this. You know, and it's like, well, I'm sorry that you don't like it, but there's nothing I can do about it. So, you know, people just, they have every suggestion on earth. So it's for me, it's bad enough that I can't work. That's exactly what I said. It's bad enough that I can't work, that I can't make a living on my own, and I feel helpless in that sense. It's even worse when people are criticizing your physical appearance. A couple days ago, I went to a family party, and I don't know if you guys caught my scope that day. I was wearing a gray maxi dress, and when I bought that dress, I went and showed it to my mom and my sister, and right away they were like, that's too tight. All of your bones are showing. And I mean, without even thinking twice, you know, and just like you said right now, Pierre, yes, people are just very rude. I live in Los Angeles, California. So, and of course, Los Angeles, California, you got a lot of health conscious, body conscious people. So, you know, the pressure's a little bit worse out here. And of course, coming from a big Hispanic family where food is everything, it's just, you know, it's a nightmare. Yeah, health, lots of health nuts out here. Um, so, it's bad enough to feel useless because I can't, you know, well, I am financially supporting myself, but not being able to work and now being criticized for the way I look. Yes, yes. Whether you're, whether you're overweight or whether you're underweight, a lot of overweight people don't realize that being skinny or being really too skinny, yes, people will come up to you and give you all kinds of suggestions. Yeah, it's bad enough to already be sick, but then to have people criticizing the way you look. But a lot of overweight people don't realize that just because you're really skinny doesn't mean that you don't get criticized for the way that you look. Um, my ex-husband would tell me, you're too skinny. So that's not fun either. Hi, Grateful Fan, welcome. So, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. If you're heavy or if you're skinny, people are going to have something to say. Because I have these, yes, anorexics need help just as much as heavy people. It's bad one way or the other. It's unhealthy one way or the other. I think because of my self-image, hi, good afternoon, or good morning, it's morning over here. Because of these self-image issues, I've started to have self-esteem problems, and you start to fall into the hands of some very not good people. And, I've tried the dating thing, and I've ended up with people that are just not very nice, and that's gotten me into some problems, and I really feel like I need to sort of work on my self-esteem so that I stop ending up getting into issues. Give me 1 second. The dog is barking like crazy right now. Okay, sorry about that, you guys. She just goes crazy. This is why I try to scope later in the day, but I just had time this morning to scope, and I figured that would be better. So, I think they have the right to be criticizing. Yes, nobody has the right to criticize, but I also come from a bit of an insensitive family, so that can also be an issue. And, they're also, being overweight, they're so accustomed to being criticized for being heavy. I mean, I've had, my uncle just straight up told my mom she was fat, so they don't think twice about that. And they don't realize that it is really disrespectful. A bit, yeah. So, like I said, feeling down about myself has gotten me into some issues, and having kind of low self-worth is really, it can be very dangerous. You start falling into the hands of people that aren't going to treat you properly, or you stay in situations, whether it's relationships or family situations, that are not healthy for you. And so I've started looking into different ways to sort of change this, and try to sort of help myself feel a little bit better. But I started developing some weird issues, especially after my divorce and after I left my husband. I moved back in with my parents, and, I dealt with some criticism in that relationship regarding my appearance, being told I was unattractive, being told I was too thin, being criticized because of what I wore, because I don't dress like this every day. I usually dress just in sweats and, a loose sweater. So I got a lot of criticism from my ex, and, when I left and I moved back home, I sort of developed these weird problems. I became really obsessed with makeup. I'm fully made up right now. You can't really tell because of the camera, but I became really, really obsessed with makeup. And I've never been a huge or a heavy makeup wearer. But for some reason, I became totally obsessed, and I was just buying and buying and buying makeup. I also started buying a lot of clothes, even though I don't fit into clothes. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, you guys have a different perspective of me because I'm here on, on Periscope. But then, meeting in person is something totally different. And I've had people come up to me and tell me, you're not confident. You don't have, like they can see it coming off of me. So I do think that there is an issue there. But, I became super obsessed, with clothes, makeup, even buying purses. I've never cared for purses in my life. And I talked to a therapist about this, and she basically said, you're just trying to be normal. You're trying to be like everyone else. Yes. I mean, I think it takes confidence, but it also takes a lot of bravery as well. Because I don't talk about my illness. And I think I mentioned that yesterday in my scope. I don't talk about my illness because I'm not permitted to talk about it. My family is very much against me speaking out about this, or at least being vocal about it. They do not approve of that. So, I totally became obsessed with like your looks. I think it was sort of um, because of my ex-husband being criticized for the way I looked, and then just feeling bad about myself. And I think also because of my illness, I have like I think there's some issues with like self-control. So I just started compulsively buying makeup and just compulsively buying clothes that I couldn't even wear because I was too skinny. And that became, an issue, and I had to stop. Yes, I left. My husband suffered from a psychiatric condition as well. So it wasn't it was a mutual thing, but he also had his own health issues that he was dealing with. And I mean, we're on great terms. The criticism was not something that was done maliciously. It was part of his psychiatric condition. I'm a big fan of Pinterest now. I'm always looking for, ways to dress myself a little bit better, makeup stuff, hair stuff. And like I said, I'm not a big makeup, hair, and clothes person. I never was. But, now I am. Now I'm very focused on what I look like. Yes, thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, I mean, you can't take it personal either, especially coming from a person that has mental health issues. You can't take their criticism personally. But I think a lot of it comes from me as well. A lot of it comes from within. So I looked up some stuff online, and there's a really good piece. It's called Self-Esteem, Body Image, and Chronic Illness. It's by Ashley Boynes-Shuck. So if you guys get a chance, Google it. That's the name right there, Ashley Boynes-Shuck. And she had some really good suggestions on how to sort of get your self-esteem going and to feel better about yourself and stuff like that. So, she talks about how different illnesses can actually alter your physical appearance. People with lupus take steroids and stuff, and that can make your face puffy. People with rheumatoid arthritis, their joints get kind of disfigured and stuff like that. So I'm lucky in the sense that I'm not disfigured or anything. My hair's not falling out. Some people with Lyme disease do have hair loss. But I do have the weight loss issue and some skin problems. So that kind of, that can sort of affect your own self-image. So she makes a few suggestions about things that you can do daily to sort of help you feel better about yourself. So one is physical activity or exercise, how as much as you can to the best of your ability, because some people can't. Positive self-talk and affirmations. I've actually never done this. I think it's silly, but I think I just need to get over that and try it, because a lot of people really do recommend positive self-talk and affirmations. So I'm going to try that maybe in June. Dress for success. This is one that I did try a couple times, but I've talked about how I don't like wearing jeans that often. Yes, definitely. I'll leave the replay up. Yeah, I've heard of positive self-affirmations, that they help a lot. So I got to try that. Yes, dressing for success. So for some of us, dressing in jeans or dressing in kind of more rigid clothes is not very comfortable. But today, for example, I put on, a nicer top, put on some jeans. I don't know if you can see my jeans. So I am trying, I did try to do that at least for today. Good posture. Some of us can't really do the good posture thing, but if you can, try it. Practice gratitude. So I did a scope on Saturday about gratitude. So I've been trying to do a little bit more of that, thinking about things that I'm grateful for. For example, I just said I'm not losing my hair. So I'm grateful for the fact that I haven't lost my hair yet. This is another one too. Give. Donate your time or your money. Volunteer. Yes, it is an immediate confidence booster. Whenever I step out of the house, even if it's just to go to the post office, I put on makeup and I put on clothes, like regular people clothes. So I do try to do that a little bit. Donate your time or your money. I'd like to get behind a volunteer project, but unfortunately, because of my light sensitivity, I have to stay away from fluorescent lights, and a lot of volunteer stuff is inside, and that can be kind of tough. Eat healthy. I eat as healthy as I possibly can. Yeah, this is what I call regular people clothes, not sick people clothes. But I usually, like I said, I'm in sweats or leggings, whatever still fits, in like a floppy loose sweater. Maybe I'll come back and do another scope so you guys can actually see what I dress in on a regular basis, because this is not what I look like every day. Eat healthy. I try to eat as healthy as I can. And identify the problem. So this one is a really big one. And I think a lot of times those of us that do have self-esteem or self-image issues, it predates our illness. And I do believe that mine predates my illness quite a bit. So the Mayo Clinic says that many self-esteem issues and self-image problems arise from a certain catalyst or troubling situation. Is it an illness, or was it something from your past that led you to feel poorly about yourself? I think it's more from my past, probably from my childhood, probably from having, kind of a rough home situation. So I don't think that it is necessarily that my illness triggered this issue. So here are some thought patterns that need to be changed for those of us that have poor self-image. So all or nothing thinking. You see things as either all good or all bad. So if that's, your thought pattern, that has to change. So for example, I'm sick, so I can't be happy. That's all or nothing thinking, and that's totally false. Mental filtering. You see only the negatives and you dwell on them. I look in the mirror, I see, acne on my chest, and it's like, oh my God, I'm disgusting. I look horrible. But then again, my skin on my face is clear. Why don't I focus on that? So mental filtering, you got to be careful with that. Converting positives into negatives. I do this. For example, I only did well on the test because it was easy. So taking away credit from yourself. And I do that a lot. I'm eating healthy, but it's not healthy enough. I'm eating more, but it's not more. It's not enough. It's not a substantial increase. Comes from being a tick. Yes, it does come from a tick. They're discovering more and more types of ticks that carry this disease and that carry different strains of this disease. So yeah, it's becoming more and more common, and it's spreading throughout the country. Jumping to negative conclusions, and I tend to do this a little bit as well. For example, if a friend doesn't text me back right away, it's like, oh, they don't like me, or I'm being annoying. So, I've really had to work on that, and just to sort of ignore my thoughts, my negative thoughts. Mistaking feelings for facts. I feel like a failure, so I must be a failure. Just because you feel that way doesn't mean that it's true. And putting yourself down. I don't deserve anything better. I do this a lot when it comes to dating. I have to date somebody that's broken because I'm broken. And that's not necessarily true. I have a friend, and I mentioned this friend before. He's on the lung transplant list, and, he's been sick for a really long time, and he never once, yes, it goes back to positive affirmations. My friend never once sold himself short. He's, still pretty sick, and like I said, he's on the lung transplant list. He got married a couple years ago. His wife is amazing. Tall, blonde, gorgeous. She's a chemist. She's perfect. I mean, she's amazing. because he never sold himself short and he found himself a perfect 10. So when I look at him, I'm thinking to myself, wow, what's the difference between him and me? It's the fact that he feels that he deserves that. So I definitely think that you gotta say something about someone that really has that kind of self-esteem. So now, yes, exactly. So now we gotta flip those negatives into positives. So replace the negative thinking with positive, constructive thoughts. Use hopeful statements. Treat yourself with kindness and encouragement. So a lot of people tell me, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. And right here it actually says pessimism can be a self-fulfilling prophecy. And that is kind of true. So if you think that you are not worthy, you won't be worthy, basically. Forgive yourself. So if you make a mistake, tell yourself it's okay. People make mistakes and you move on. Avoid should and must statements. So if you're always thinking, exactly, back to positive affirmations, I should be heavier, I must gain weight. We got to change that because those are things that can be immediately changed. Focus on the positive, again, like positive affirmations. Encourage yourself. Give yourself credit for making positive changes. So, for example, my life is harder than some people's because I'm chronically ill, but I do pretty well given the cards I've been dealt. And this is one thing that I actually have noticed. I see a lot of negativity in my family. And for the most part, they're relatively healthy. They still work. Thank you for the hearts, by the way. They still work. They still, can function. And they're so negative and so unhappy and so miserable. They complain every single day and they're angry every single day. So I give myself credit that, all right, thank you for coming in. So I give myself credit for having a little bit more positivity, even though I'm very sick. I can honestly say I'm more positive and more upbeat than my parents are, and I'm in worse health. So I do give myself credit for that. Relabel upsetting thoughts. You don't need to react negatively to negative thoughts. Instead, think of negative thoughts as signals to try new, healthy patterns. Ask yourself, what can I think and do to make this less stressful? So yeah, these things are really hard to do, but I think it's really important, especially for those of us that are sick, because we do think badly about ourselves and we look in the mirror and we think, oh my God, I'm so ugly, I look horrible. Thank you for the hearts. But it's really important to stop that kind of thinking because then that gets us into trouble. We end up in situations, relationships, family situations that can affect us even worse. Thank you for inviting followers. And that can be really, really tough. So, I'm going to work on this. Hopefully in the month of June, maybe I'll do some scopes on implementing these things into my life because I really need to do that. And I know a lot of us here with chronic illnesses need to do that as well. So those are just the things that I've researched and that I've seen, that I've also seen in myself. And yeah, that's it. Hi, Jose. Welcome. So that's it, I guess. That's all I have for today. But maybe I'll do a scope one day where I'm not looking like this. I'm very vain. Like I said, I've been putting on makeup every day and just trying to, trying to look nice when I scope, but that's not the case. That's actually not my day-to-day. And I am very self-conscious of going on scope and not looking, perfect. But, I don't look perfect and nobody looks perfect. And sometimes we have to sort of come to terms with that. So, once again, my name is Marisol. I have late-stage Lyme disease. If you guys want more information, go to www.youcaring.com/Marisol Has Lyme. That's my You Caring fundraising page. It's an open fundraiser until May 31st. So just for the month of May, which is Lyme Awareness Month. If you can, share it with family and friends. I'm trying to raise some money to pay off medical debt. I did lower the amount, so so the goal is a little bit more attainable. So check that out. It also has more details about my illness. Check out my other scopes. I have a few scopes that I saved that talk about some of my symptoms, and I think those are really, really good. If you want to see all of my previous scopes, go to my YouTube page. The link is also in my bio. And there's also a link to my blog, which is still kind of under construction. I still haven't gotten it off the ground yet. So check those out. Follow me on Twitter, HotSun100384. And, thank you once again for the shares. Thank you for the hearts. I really appreciate it. A lot of people in here have told me that this is something that really needs to be talked about, and I really appreciate that. I appreciate that you guys appreciate it, and I'll try to keep doing it. I was only planning on doing this for the month of May, but a lot of people have been asking me to keep it going, so I may continue this, maybe not once a day, but I will try to continue as much as I can. Yes, I don't want to save all of my scopes on Periscope, just because it's kind of like it's kind of annoying to see the huge list, but I save the ones that I think are that I get the most questions about. The light sensitivity is a huge one that I get questions about, so I save that one so people can see sort of how hard it is on the day-to-day, for me to live day-to-day. But for the other ones, I have them up on my YouTube. The link is in my bio. And like I said, check out my fundraising page. You can follow me on Twitter, HotSun100384. And my blog is still under construction. I'm really looking forward to that. And I have other stuff. I have tons of stuff that I still want to talk about, but I only have about a week left, for Lyme Awareness Month. So I'll just try to backlog all these topics and keep it going. But thank you for joining me. I really appreciate it. I'll be back tomorrow. Tomorrow I think I'm going to actually talk about makeup and hair care. So if there's ladies out there that are interested, I'll be talking about that. So thank you guys so much, and I'll see you tomorrow.